Tech Jacks here. This is my vlog segment here. I'm going to do vlog videos and how-to videos because my vlog videos are going to be more open. I'm going to be able to, say what I need to say and have my opinions. And in my how-to videos, I'm going to get straight to them, cut straight to the chase, show you guys how to do the stuff that I want to do. So with my vlogs, I get to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the things that I see in IT, see in life, and touch on it and expound, and actually, be myself and be honest and open, and use the form of the video to actually go ahead and support the actual blog that would be on my website. So this particular video, recruiters. Recruiting, right? It's everywhere. IT is flooded with recruiting. Most organizations, they have outsourced their IT departments completely in a lot of cases, but some of them are starting to outsource their HR departments. And how they're doing that is by using third-party organizations to do all of their interviewing and filtering candidates all for them. So as an IT technician, especially like in the Chicagoland area, when I'm in between projects and things like that, I get a ton of calls from recruiters, and a lot of times actually that particular aspect of it, which can sometimes be an aspect that you look forward to when it comes to actually transitioning from different locations and going to different locations and seeing things, and that's what you're into, it can be bogged down a little bit by that process. The issues that I have with IT in particular when it comes to staffing agencies and recruiters are, first, number one, the recruiters, like what, 80, 90% of them don't even know anything about IT. They'll call you, they'll look at your resume, and then they'll try to get you to come in, because a lot of these companies and recruiters, they have this deal where they have to actually sit in front of you and interview you before they can actually submit you for an interview with that organization. The organization wants to know and verify that that staffing agency has sat down with that candidate and has verified that that person is, professional, and, just get a good sense about the personality of that person. So in a lot of situations when you are introduced to a new recruiting agency, they'll want you to come in and talk to them and get a little bit of information about, what you're looking for, what you're about, and your experiences. You have to watch out for certain situations where recruiting agencies want you to come in, but don't even really have a position for you, because a lot of times they might say they have a position that they think that you might be a good fit for, and they have you come down. And if you're in a city that has very bad traffic, it can be a nightmare. And you get down there and you talk about a position, and they leave you with the parting line of, if we don't get back in contact with you for a couple of days, give us a call. If you hear that, then they didn't have a job for you, and I would strongly suggest that you eliminate that particular place off the list of places that you would ever speak to again. And if you have friends and colleagues and coworkers that might possibly be reached out with that particular location, please let them know to be aware of that, because I don't feel as though that representing or saying that you have a particular job ready for a candidate and not having that job actually, it's kind of like, a bait and switch. And this is not for situations in which they do have a candidate or do have a job, but, the place finds somebody, and it was just a situation in which, the timing was a little bit off. This is those real situations in which they purposely mislead you in order to get you to come in so they can get their Rolodex and get you on file for being able to submit you in the future. If you have a job and you call out to a candidate to come in to talk a little bit about that job, then please keep that real. The misrepresentation is not needed, and it doesn't help the community because it gives you a bad reputation. This is to the recruiters, if any of them watch this video. And the people that do this, you know who you are, so don't do it. Don't do it. Number two, know a little bit more about IT. If you're, and this is just for an example, I'm just going to throw out some acronyms or some certifications or some education things, and see if anybody has any experience with this. Don't call a CCNP with virtualization experience and Microsoft Exchange experience and who's been a senior network engineer and offer him a PC technician job for $12 an hour, driving around a whole state and having to pay for gas himself. I know that you like to do your blast emails. I know that you're busy. We're all busy. But to me, that's not very efficient work because it might be easier for you to just get a segment of email addresses and do a blast email out so it's not even personalized. But we see that it's not personalized. We know that it's not really for us and it's not actually a good fit for us. So if we looking at your domain and where you're sending that email from, then we're going to start to believe that you're from a spamming organization, and that organization is not an organization that we want to deal with. So if you're going to send emails for possible jobs, then please make sure that you read that person's email. Make sure that you know what they're looking for, and if you don't, then ask before you send that. If somebody is specifically into desktops, sending them a job requirement dictating that they need to know .NET, SQL query, Python, Ruby on Rails programming, and it's a job that's completely outside of that element. When they receive that, they know it's outside of their element, and all you do is build to the frustration that a lot of IT have with wanting to even deal with recruiters in the first place, because we have a disconnect when it comes to the staffing agencies as it is. And to speak to that disconnect and why it's prevalent, let's talk a little bit about why staffing agencies and recruiters are needed anyway, right? So, they started outsourcing IT a couple of years ago. They sent a lot of jobs to India, and they started to get rid of IT departments internally because, number one, they wanted to cost reduce. And it also allowed for them to lower their risk when it came to actually hiring people who might not have been a good fit. With going to contracts, what it allows them to do is to, set out a description for a particular job. And the good thing about contracting for them is that a lot of IT is project based. You get projects, you get rollouts, you get migrations, you get data infrastructure setups, you get virtualization projects, you get all these projects. So it allows them to say that, well, we don't need a network engineer all year. We only need a network engineer 3 months out of the year for when we do these particular types of projects. So why should we pay somebody for a full year's worth of work and the benefit? The benefits is the big issue, right? And when we can just bring somebody in for 3 months and pay them, and then after the 3 months we can toss them out, let them go. Let them go ahead and find another position, and that way you don't have to worry about that overhead. So it helps them be able to say that, we got these particular blocks of projects, and that way we can specialize on getting the people that we need for them and placing them in those projects in those time frames. And then when those time frames are up, those people can go ahead and we can make sure that we're efficient when it comes to our services and the way that we spend our capital. So I understand that particular aspect of it. They also use staffing agencies as an extended branch of their HR, because the staffing agencies are now allowed to go ahead and do all the recruiting, number one, reach out to the candidates, have the candidates come in, do the background checks, do the drug tests a lot of the times, and then they talk to the candidate and see if the job will be a good fit for them, see what the candidate really wants. And then if they are, they know that candidate wants the job, then they can go ahead and send that candidate to that HR department for that organization for their hiring manager and their supervisors and those people to actually interview. Now, there is and can be a couple of issues with a situation like that. Number one, right? The transparency when it comes to pay ranges and pay rates. Folks have a really difference of opinion when it comes to asking about what pay rates, what salary are when it comes to contracts with jobs in general. When a lot of people are actually approached immediately about pay rates, sometimes you hear from people, don't talk about pay rates until you're into the process. Don't bring it up in the first interview, and all of this stuff. I'm not a big proponent to that, because number one, don't waste your time, don't waste their time. If you have a particular range that you're looking for and they're not looking to get into that range, then you guys do yourself a favor and not have people setting up meetings, canceling meetings, traveling in public transportation or on the road, coming down when you guys can be dancing this whole dance, possibly interviewing and having 3 or 4 interviews, and then you guys get down to the salary numbers, and you guys are so significantly apart in terms of your salary requirements that it was all a waste of time. So you definitely do want to do it early in the process. for technicians, know your market rate. Know what your value is due to your education, due to your job titles, due to what you've been able to do, in your work ethic and all that. You want to know what your market value is and what you can particularly ask for range-wise based on your experience. You want to make sure that you're getting value for yourself, because that organization is going to make sure that they do everything possible to make sure that they get the most value out of the particular bill rate that they're going to be charged for that staffing agency. And to that point, staffing agencies, when you're this is for technicians, when you're dealing with a staffing agency, and it's funny because I just give like random examples. Say you're a tier 2 person and you're looking for $25 an hour. You are on tier 1. You got some experience now. You possibly got your Security Plus and your CCNA, or you just got the relevant experience that will make that transition more apt. And you're looking for $25 an hour. An organization might say that they're looking for a tier 2 person and they're willing to pay $55. You won't see that $55, and it's kind of like, wow, $55 is out there. That's what the organization would be willing to pay for a person such as yourself. But they are getting billed that rate from the staffing agency, and the staffing agency will then offer you the 25 or the 22. Because a lot of staffing agencies, they say, well, they're willing to go to 55 for this particular position. Let's see if we can find them a suitable candidate for 19, for 20. And if multiple staffing agencies have the same ability to place for that organization, then that's when you'll start to see the differences between pay rates for that same position. You might get one call from Insight Global for 21, one call from Robert Half for 25, one call from Randstad for like 28. And, it's like, and that's not how it really, like in terms of what each organization, in terms of staffing, pays, that's going to be a different video, because we're going to do a review on that, just so you guys know. That was just an example. And what happens is that you might get a call from a particular person saying that they're looking for a desktop tier 2 person, and what's your last pay rate, right? They want to know what your last pay rate was, because if you say 16, they're going to offer you 18. Even though they pretty much could give you 25 or 28 or 30. It depends on how much of the pie they're willing to share with you. So please be aware of that they're in competition not only with you, but with themselves. So that causes a conflict of interest when it comes to actually getting the best candidates out there for each organization. Because again, you may have a great tier 1 desktop admin who is looking to move up to tier 2, who has education, who might be going to school to get extra degrees when it comes to IT, who is highly committed to IT, who wants to learn more, who wants to be great in it. And you might have somebody else who just knows how to do a little bit break fix, and they've been doing it long enough so that they are, an average tier 1 person. If one organization is looking for a tier 2 person and one staffing agency is looking to maximize their profits when it comes to placing, because they want more of the bill rate for themselves, then you're going to be in competition. Even though you're probably going to be the best candidate that organization has, you probably would have been in a couple of years moving up and helping that organization grow and expand and become great. You might lose out on that job because that one of those recruiting agencies was able to get that $19 an hour guy in front of them. And the location that you talked to did not want to send you over there because you was expecting 25. And even though that organization is paying 55 regardless, they'll never get to see the candidates that they deserve to see to be able to do the best job possible, because the staffing agencies are at war and they're trying to maximize their profits. Excuse me. When it comes to profits and maximizing it, I understand that in terms of a business sense. I am not a proponent, and I don't back it up to the extremity where it comes to losing integrity, losing common sense, logic, being able to deductively reason and see about getting a return on your investment when it comes to certain things. For instance, you can say that every single week I might get $1,000, and I can spend $25 every single week educating myself so that in the future I'm able to get a return on investment that actually increased at $1,000 up to $1,500. Some people would say I'm not losing $25 a day because I am not going to lessen my profit as it is. I'm not going to risk losing $25 a day to potentially be able to earn a lot more because I invest in somebody or something that can return that type of investment. I see that in IT when it comes to placing candidates who are very qualified for positions. Very high qualified candidates might not get put in front of organizations sometimes because the staffing agency knows that they might require more or might expect more money. And again, the organizations are not seeing the best candidates for a particular job regardless because of that. And I think it's unfortunate because I think that all organizations should be able to see the best of the best for their particular position that they're actually billing out for. And if organizations and staffing agencies aren't on the same page with that, then the technicians and the people in IT aren't, and it becomes a whole big thing. With that, that's a little bit about the recruiting aspects. Technicians, make sure you know your market value. Make sure that you know who are by rep are considered the better staffing and agencies in your area. Make sure that when you speak to them, you ask for honesty. Their job is going to be, and their job is to place candidates with that organization so that they can get paid. They don't really care about you in particular. But you still want to have a good rapport and a working relationship with them because depending on how they place and what kind of what kind of actual performance you do when you get there, their reputation is increased with that place, and they're able to get more business because that place might exclusively only go through them, or hiring managers might exclusively only go through specific staffing agencies or recruiters at those staffing agencies. So there's a lot at stake for them. Learn how everything operates. Keep yourself mentally prepared for that because you're not only fighting between the competition that you have with other people, you're fighting between the common perception of maximizing profits when it comes to staffing and recruiting agencies. If a recruiter says that a location is willing to pay this and willing to pay that, or not willing to pay this or not willing to pay that, please be aware that they're getting billed rates. So, once that bill rate is set, that organization is really not having anything to do with whether or not you're getting an extra 2 or 3, or if you've been working there for 3 months and you getting extended and you feel as though that you should probably get an extra $1 or $2, and you're talking to the recruiters and they're trying to act like, let me see if I can get you the extra $1 too. They can get it to you. They can. The talk is about whether or not they can replace you for somebody for less money and not take a hit when it comes to rep. So please be aware of that. And this is Tech Jacks.